December is, we're into a second week of December. This year is almost gone. And we are happy to be in the series of the Advent. Advent is preparing for Jesus' birth and when God comes. Okay, is our sermon series topic. And today we're going to talk about, he comes to restore justice and to bring peace. Okay, so this is the topic. And in the first verse of this passage, a shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse, and from his roots the branch will bear fruits. And by the way, that is actually a real picture, that very good, almost like AI, that kind of thing. Yeah. So these days, but it is a real picture. Okay, so there's a thick, stump there, right? And it's saying that, there's a shoot, there's a branch will come out of this, family tree of Jesse, and from its root, the branch will bear fruit, and the Spirit of the Lord will rest on him. This is a prophecy of Messiah. And why it is so significant? Because, well, you know who Jesse is, right? This Jesse, later on in different passage also talk about the location, which is, Galilee, right? So it's like the Jesse is the father of King David, this Jesse. And so this prophecy is to fulfill this the prophecy to the King David that his descendant would always reign, right? So this is the prophecy that come together and say, hey, Messiah is going to come, okay? And that he will sit on the throne forever, and that's him, the forever kingdom. The Messiah, the King Messiah, is going to come from King David. And he used Jesse, probably just saying that this is actually true genealogy. This is not metaphor, right? Jesse, David, Solomon, and boom, right? So hundreds of years before Christmas, before the birth of Jesus, the prophecy is connecting the King David and Christ. Okay, so that's how Christmas come to be. And what is the significance of this Messiah comes? Okay, in verse 4 says this: with righteousness he will judge the needy. With justice he will give decisions for the poor and the earth. Now, we know this Messiah is Jesus, God the Son. And he actually, has bear the same characters as God, who, even though they have different personality, but in different places, some says that righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. So if you think about God, you think about just, right? I mean, human beings are biased. We have our own little bit prejudice. Like we, likely or not, we won't admit it or not. We do have them, right? But God is just, righteous, right? And He also loved and faithful. And so when the Messiah was born to the earth, last week we talked about a child was born, a child was given, right? A child was given, and so when He was given to this earth, what does He make the difference to this earth? Okay. It says this, that He will bring basically the justice to this world. Okay? And so when you hear about justice to the world, okay, when you think about this justice thing, what is justice in your mind? And we know that the world is actually honestly full of injustice, isn't it? Regardless, you may think in the United States, you see this injustice here and there, right? But if you go to different part of the world, different countries, some of the injustice is actually even greater, right? There's no sufficient laws to enforce justice. And there is the social levels. The poor and the rich are, very different. So, this world is not just, right? And you may ask yourself, am I the poor and the needy that, the Messiah is going to restore justice for the injustice I suffer? Or maybe, am I the oppressor? Do I do something that actually inflicts injustice? Well, the answer is, of course, yes, right? We do both, right? We may think that we don't inflict injustice, but a lot of times we do. Our sinful nature give us this selfish motivations, and a lot of times we do not do justice to a lot of situations, right? And of course, there are the injustice imposed on us. So we need to think about that. And when Messiah come to bring justice, what does that have to do with me? Right? We need to think about that. But let's move on and read a few passages that's very interesting, talking about, again, that's a real picture, okay? Talk about the wolf will live with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, the calf and the lion are yearling together. A little child will lead them, and on and on says the cow will feed the bear, the young will, infant will play near serpent and all that. Is that if you I don't know if you've been to Africa or this wild world, right? I mean, this crude and cruel, the food chain, right? The lion is the strongest, and he basically can gobble up everybody else, right? Until that the lion get old and being taken over by the younger lions, right? But then you have this and all killing each other, and you're not supposed to have a lion in peace with a monkey, for example, right? But you know what? Why is it brought up here? Why is the Bible? Why does the prophet talk about this? This kind of out of place, isn't it? What does that have to do with justice, right? The cow will feed the bear, right? Well, that's because Messiah kingdom. In the Messiah kingdom that Messiah is to bring will be like this. Yeah? It will be literally like this. You can say it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor, right? But no, it says, actually the Bible in other places, in different part of Isaiah, repeat this again. When God's justice is in full display, when God's righteousness fill the earth without, forever, this is what will happen. This is what will happen. The natural order is going to be different. So it's obvious it's talking about new heaven and new earth, right? Because I would not recommend you to go to the zoo and try to sleep with a lion, because it's not happened yet. Okay? The Messiah comes is the beginning of the restoration of the full justice, full righteousness of God. And at the end, you will see this, okay? That, the cow and the bear was supposed to live peacefully together. Okay? And in the very beginning of Genesis, you can find out that there wasn't, we are built differently. In the original version of human beings in the world, that there is no such thing as, the lion eats deer eats grass, that kind of thing. It's like everybody live peacefully together. Even the animals. And so the Messiah kingdom will eventually restore justice, God's justice, and you will yield peace. Okay? And the old heaven, old earth, we know that from the Revelation, will be wrapped up, right? Will be like an old carpet, wrap up, and the new heaven, new earth will, come down, and it will be like this. Okay, we don't understand it, but it will be like this. The law of physics is a little bit different. Okay, maybe very different. The biology may be very different, right? You will have imperishable bodies, right? So you'll be very different. I may not recognize you, right? But one thing is very interesting is that this justice, God's justice, is in full effect. There's no injustice like the strong oppress the weak. Okay? That is actually mind-boggling, isn't it? You don't have any concept of this oppression or plundering or, this kind of the strong take advantage, the weak. And maybe this model was the original Garden of Eden, right? That Adam was told to name every animals, right? And they can see that, hey, all the animals, just come and go without worry about each other. So, Messiah kingdom tells us one thing in this description, that the ultimate God's justice is peace. Now we get a better understanding why, Isaiah 9:7 talk about the name of this child that's given you is Prince of Peace, right? Prince of Peace. In the most eternal sense is that when God's Messiah kingdom restored the world, God's order will be reinstalled to original. And that's the picture. That's a movie of it. The wolf will live with the lamb. Leopard will lie down with a goat. Okay? And you and I will be living together peacefully. Okay? Over the, sometimes I read the Bible, and sometimes really strikes me is that, God really resents. What does God really resent? What is detestable? What is God really hates? It is actually, if you go to Genesis chapter 7, talking about the Noah and the flood, right? God actually regretted He created human being. Well, because of what? If you read around it, it found out that, because the strong is oppressing the weak. And all they think about is the evil, about themselves. How do I get more? And they don't care about at the expense of others. And that is exactly, God doesn't want things to happen. If God is God himself, if he is what the Bible says, that he come to earth as a humble person, he is the strongest and become the most humble one to serve all of us, then this is his biggest nature. That he is strong, but he love and serve the weak. And if you're a person like God, you cannot bear with seeing people, the strong people, basically use their muscle, use their weapons to overcome the weak, take over what they have, right? And even King David, he has everything, and he overtook one of his soldiers' wife, and God was so mad, right? He said, "You had everything, and you forcefully committed adultery, murder, lying to get this woman for your own, right?" But of course, God's love is greater. Even then, he's this huge anger that he eventually forgave King David, right? And he's in play in our in our passage here. So peace and justice come hand in hand. Okay. So so what do we do? What do we do today? You know, today we are living in a society that's honestly full of a lot of injustice, right? And but God says that follow justice, and justice alone. Okay? This is before God sent His people Israelites to the land of milk and honey, and He says that follow justice and justice alone, right? But the first thing that we know that there's a lot of bad things going on, right? They kill the whole town and all that stuff because God says don't, and something happened. But you know what? But God says before that, God says that follow justice and justice alone, so that you may live and possess the land that God gave you, right? And Deuteronomy, two verses before that, God says that appoint judges and officials so that you can judge them fairly. Okay? And so today we live in this world, and we have to ask ourselves, how do I live a just life? What do I do? How do I do myself justice in living here? How do I do others justice in living in this world? You know, sometimes we do ourselves justice. You know, it's like, I don't know if you feel like you do yourself justice. What is the justice of God inspire you to live a life today that do yourself a justice? How do I cope with this injustice in light of the eternal justice, that I am going to be in? But how do I deal with today's injustice? Okay? How do I do that? Well, sometimes I don't know how you cope with injustice in life. I just think back. I ask myself that question. At one time I was bullied in my high school, right? And one time I was dumped by a girlfriend, right? And some of the things that one time I was passed on by the promotion, that kind of thing, right? How do I cope with this injustice, And sometimes when you're young, that you find that you're being overpowered, you cope with it with some mechanism, like you try to please people, right? So you can be spared of the wrath sometimes. You sometimes deny those oppressions and just say, okay, this is just the nature, right? Sometimes you say revenge, right? God says that it is mine to revenge, right? But you said, it's in my hands. I'm going to revenge. This is how I deal with justice. But you know what? When we think about this eternal justice that God has in place for us, that Messiah to bring, you will have a different perspective. Yes, there's injustice in this world. It may not go away, and maybe you do need to take action. But you know what? It is not eternal. The justice that imposed on you is not eternal. Okay? It is just for time being. Right? And what you need to do is just to face it, embrace it with whatever God has given you. Justice, the courage to face justice, the courage to be true to yourself, the courage to have high integrity, the courage to have this courage to fight against injustice, knowing that, even though the war, the battle is won. But you know what? I am put in this place, and I need to advocate for injustice, right? So how do you do yourself justice? Think about that. If you suffer justice, don't use an unhealthy way, ungodly way to handle it, right? Go to God and handle your injustice in life. And how do you do others justice? Well, by all means, bring justice to their lives, right? Don't impose your injustice, pass over to other people's injustice. No, you actually protect others from injustice if you can. And that's what Jesus would want us to live a justice life, follow justice, and justice alone, right? But again, justice is also the Lord actually asks us to act justly, but also with compassion and humility. Okay? So the very famous Micah 6:8. What does the Lord require of you? To act justly. Okay? Speak truth, act honestly, but at the same time demonstrate humility and compassion. Okay? Isaiah 1:17 says that learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. If you see the widow, you see the fatherless, you support them. Okay, this maybe the society injustice has placed upon them, but you will be the one to act on and with compassion, but with humility, right? You preserve their dignity. You can serve and give them good things, but sometimes they need most is dignity, right? They may not need your money. They need your respect of their being. And that's how we were told to live our life, waiting for the eternal justice, is that we walk, act justly, and love mercy, and walk humbly with our God. Justice and mercy always come together, and we need to do everything in reverence of the Lord, because He is the one who is going to bring ultimate justice and peace to this world. Okay. All right, so lastly, we come back to this, this stone. Verse 10, the last verse says that in the day the root of Jesse will stand as a banner for the people. Now, if you pay attention, verse 1 says this: a shoot will come up, right? A branch will come up of Jesse, right? The branch will come up of Jesse. The descendant of King David will become the Messiah, right? But then in the last verse of this passage says that in that day the root of Jesse will stand as a banner for the peoples. The root of Jesse. Now he's talking about the root of Jesse now. The root of Jesse is the Messiah. The branch of the Jesse is the Messiah. What's going on? Well, that's what God exactly said. Okay? He is the root and the branch. How can that be happen? Only can happen when He is God. That He came down. He was the root. He came down as the branch. Right? And that's how we celebrate Christmas. Is that God, the Alpha, become, not Alpha, become the fruit, become the branch to bring the world justice and mercy. And that is how we should remember it. And when we celebrate Christmas, we know that Jesus is from the beginning, okay? That He can say that I was from the beginning, and then He can also say that I am the descendant of King David. They are both true. Sometimes I was talking to some of my friends. I was talking about Christianity, and they always say that, hey, look at this passage. Jesus Himself claimed that He is a man. I said, you're right. And he said, this passage. I said, this passage also, Jesus said He is God, right? So how can He be man and He can be God? The answer is yes. Okay? He is God and became man. And that's what Christmas is about, to bring down the world with justice, fairness, righteousness. So when we today follow him, living a life, following Jesus, we have this perfect picture. This perfect picture that the lion and the sheep will live together peacefully. And I will be living peacefully with all the, whatever conflict that I had in life. It won't happen in the new heaven and new earth. And why do I bother today? Spend so much time to worry about it and forget to live our life, to be a beloved son and daughter of God, right? So today I will just give you a challenge to think about, all these things that disturb your peace, all those things that make you worried, okay, or make you even resentful, bitter. Bring it to the Lord. Bring it to Jesus. Think about the peace that he's going to bring you. And weigh those, temporal injustice and worries with the eternal justice and peace. Let us pray.